Ladies and gentlemen, good evening! How are we? Listen to that, totally apathetic, isn't it? That's just what I expected when coming to, where is this?
Burnt Barn!
Burnt Barn! So, are we all well?
Yeah.
Right. What we're going to do, because that was a shit start, wasn't it really, to be honest? Let's just pretend this is live at the Apollo. Use your imagination. I'll announce myself off stage, and then you can all cheer like you mean it. Is that all right? Is that a deal?
Yeah.
Good. Oh, this is going to be a challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Live at the Apollo, and give it up for your host, Nick Hill! See? So much better when you put your minds to it. This is looking different, isn't it? This is just thanks for all coming out and supporting this worthy cause. I mean, this looks like to be a fantastic night tonight, and there's stacks going on. We got 2 comedians at the start. You got a raffle. I mean, some of those prizes out there. We could be here till Tuesday before we get through that, I think.
That's only a tombola, that's the raffle.
This is the raffle here.
This is the... What's that out there then?
Tombola.
Oh
4
my.
tickets for £1.
How many?
4.
4 tickets for a bargain. And you've got a silent auction as well, haven't you?
Yes. Barbecue.
And you've got a drag queen. And you've got a live band. And how much did you pay for these tickets? $9.99. Oh, you've got a bargain. So I'm one of the comedians. You might find that hard to believe. So don't start. It's nice being it, and it's nice seeing 2 former members of Right Said Fred. All right, yeah. I mean, you 2 are massive, aren't you, really? And I know you could batter me with just your eyes, but what I'd really love it is for the gentleman over the back, the other baldy, just to come and sit with these 3, and then that would be the lineup complete, wouldn't it? That would be... You're not going to do it, are you? No. I haven't travelled too far. I've only come from Gloucester tonight, so it's been all right. Pardon? Oh, right, okay. It's going to be like that, is it? Okay, because I like to do some research on the gig I'm doing. I've looked on your Facebook pages. There's not a lot going on in Chepstow and Bulwark, is there? Although I say that this week you've had some interesting things happen. Because the SMS Hair Studio. Have we got? I mean, obviously you guys don't go there, but have we got anybody in from the SMS Hair Studio? A day ago, she put up a warning. Warning. I think she's dyslexic as well. 2 travels, I think she meant travellers, had their hair done today in my salon. £200 worth. They have left without paying. We're going to the police. Why? They're not going to do anything. I am always open-minded, give people a chance, not wanting to judge, but I have lost a lot of business. I've lost 200 quid, love. And I have a very upset staff member, right? I mean, that's £200, that is a lot to a business. But if she'd have looked a little bit further back, I think the clue was there. Because a day before, Sarah Rashid put, my daughter is in dire need of a haircut. What's the best place in Chepstow to take her? And Kelly Cotton, is Kelly in tonight? Do we know Kelly Cotton? Kelly Cotton just put SMS Hair Studio, so I think there's her 2 travellers right there in full view. This one, oh, I was delighted with this one. Justin Cook. Do you know Justin? Yeah. Justin. On most Facebook pages, you will see in the local community there is a problem with dog poo, right? It's doesn't matter where you go, it's everywhere. But Justin, this was only 2 days ago. Why don't people in Bulwark clean up after their dogs? And what I particularly liked about this post was he picked it up with his hand and taken a photo of it. Is he like that? Is that the sort of thing he'd do? Emma Diston replied, I hope you didn't eat it again, Justin Cook, because I told you last time it's not chocolate. That's brilliant. I love this one. This was Who's this by? Chloe Nicholas. Is Chloe in? Does anybody know Chloe? No? Chloe put, my parcel's been delivered to the wrong house. Anyone got any idea of whose door this is? And she's taken a photo of the door. It's a tiny little photo. Look at that. You can't, I mean, what is Chloe thinking about? No? That'll sod you. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, I have travelled up from Gloucester, and we don't get on with Cheltenham. That's our arch enemies. Who do you not get on with? Who's your nearest? Everybody. Who was that?
Sedbury.
Sedbury. Oh, that's just down the road. Yeah, but they're not really a... What about Lydney or Newport? How are you... See? You love Newport?
Yes.
Bloody hell, really? Where are you from?
Better than Chepstow.
It's better than Chepstow. And you're in a room full of Chepstow people.
I live in Chepstow.
You live in Chepstow, but Newport's better than Chepstow. Why don't you go live in Newport then?
I want to.
You don't want to?
I want to.
You want to? It's not that odd.
Going into a house swap, isn't it?
House, yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. So we don't get on with Cheltenham, and I didn't realise just how bad our relationship with Cheltenham was until a couple of years ago, and there was talk of Gloucester being twinned with Cheltenham as a super city, right? There was talk of that. And BBC Gloucester went out into the centre of Gloucester and asked people, how do you feel about Gloucester being twinned with Cheltenham? And like most people were like, yeah, I think that's a great idea, like, because our city's pretty shit in it and theirs is wonderful and we can have all these things and it'd be great. They went into Cheltenham, asked the same question, how would you feel about Cheltenham being twinned with Gloucester? They found one person who was prepared to speak, and the answer to that question was, how do you feel about Cheltenham being twinned with Gloucester? She just said, ghastly. And I think that just sums it up, doesn't it, really? But Gloucester's on the up, you know, we've got the, when you say you're from Gloucester and you ask people what their immediate thoughts are, you might get the cathedral, you might get the rugby, you might get Fred West. But we're on the up. The cathedral was used as a film shoot for Harry Potter, which was fantastic. I mean, what an achievement that was. But we can't compete with the Forest of Dean a few years back being used, Puzzle Wood being used for Star Wars. I mean, what a coup that was for that was just brilliant. What a thing. And the makers of that film wanted to recreate that famous moment in the first film when our hero walked into a bar and it was full of people with like 2 heads, 8 fingers. And all they had to do was walk into any bar in Colford on a Saturday night and they'd have the pick of who they wanted. But I like the Forest, but there was something in the newspaper a little while back about a man from Cinderford being accused of having sex with a wild boar whilst under the influence of alcohol. And I thought, how much alcohol would a wild boar need to have sex with a man from Cinderford? But the one thing about Gloucester we're probably most famous for is the cheese roll. Are we aware of the cheese roll?
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I'm thinking of doing it this year. I've been practicing. I've been rolling the baby bell down my drive. That's going well. And a few years back, the cheese roll was reintroduced. Sorry, was that an important call? Who was that? Who was that on the phone? Look, completely deaf. Look at that. It's lovely. Yeah, you're just ignoring me. You're ignoring me because I'm from Gloucester. Well, we'll come back to you later. The cheese roll was reintroduced and BBC South West were there to film it. And one of the winners of the races was a 15-year-old girl called Kylie from Brockworth, which is it's not the best area of Gloucester. And they interviewed her and they said, Kylie, you've entered the race and you've won. What would you like to say? And she was like, yeah, well, I did enter the race, and I have won, and I'm very surprised. And they said, why were you surprised? And what I wanted Kylie to say at that moment in time was, well, look at me. I'm 15. I left school when I was 12 because nobody gave me any hope. I've already got 6 kids by 8 different dads. But I thought, do you know what, Kylie? This is the time for you to shine. And I've been training really hard and I got to the top of that hill and they let the cheese go and I just focused on the cheese and I ran down and I caught it. And I thought that's going to prove to everybody what I can really do. That's what I wanted her to say. What came out of Kylie's mouth to the question, why were you surprised, was quite simply, I don't even like cheese. We've had a tough time on it this past 4 or 5 years. We're going through all sorts of shit. We've gone through Brexit. I don't know how you voted. I voted Remain. Not out of any strong political issues, but I think we do need East European workers, because there's absolutely no way I want to go back to washing my own car on a Sunday. We've gone through COVID, we've got the Russian crisis, and now there's talk of alien invasion. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Alien invasion. I've got to be honest, I did a gig in Lydney last week, and just looking around the room at some of the people in that room, I think it's already started. I had a good year in comedy last year, 2022. I went to the Leicester Comedy Festival and I won the Silver Stand-Up Award. Yeah, thanks. That's about all it's worth, to be honest, that little tap on the table. But it was basically what it is. It's a competition aimed at the over 55s. I mean, you've got to do a little bit more than that, but like, there was no upper age limit. Backstage, it was like God's waiting room for comedians. One act, just before he was sat in a chair asleep, and we were looking at him thinking, shit, is he asleep? Is he asleep or dead? And somebody said, are we going to wake him up? And I was like, no, leave him, just increase our chances. And I did the heat, and I got through to the final, did the final, and I won, and it was brilliant. And I phoned my wife, I said, you'll never guess, after 4 years of trying, I've only gone and won. And she's like, oh, that's fantastic. What have you won? Now, you will have worked out from her accent that she is from Mumbai. Thanks, that normally gets a much better laugh, but we'll just go with the one shot and that's fine. And I said, I've won a trophy. She said, anything else? No. I got back home and I'm showing her this trophy. She said, right, I'll ask you again. Have you won anything else? No. So, well, I've been on the website, right? What about the £500 cash prize? I was gutted, because I was going to keep that for something special. She said, what have I told you all through our marriage? I don't know, there's been so many things, it's difficult to remember, to be quite honest. She said, never ever lie. And she's right. You shouldn't lie, should you, in a marriage? It should all be about trust. But she went on a cruise at the end of April last year, and she phoned me up on a Wednesday midweek. Are you missing me? I thought, well, I can't lie, so I just said, absolutely not. No. She started clutching at straws. I bet the dog's missing me. He fucking wasn't. Me and him, we had the best time. He was sleeping on my bed. I was feeding him from the table. We were down the pub. We went and got tattoos. Well, I did. And it got to the Thursday, and there was just me and him, and he was sat there. And I know dogs can't talk, but he was sat there looking at me, and I could read his mind. He was just sat there, and it was like, oh, Dad, this is just fantastic. And yep, it is. Why don't we just move and not tell her where we've gone? But I couldn't do that. We celebrated Valentine's Day this year. Did we all have a good Valentine's Day? No. You and your right-handed. That's way too much information. I think you two are just doing your own double act there, aren't you, really? That's what's going on. That's your son. Okay. All of a sudden I don't feel particularly safe, I've got to be honest. I did the right thing for Valentine's Day. I phoned the florist. I'd like to order some flowers for my wife. She said, that's fine. Do you want a card? Yeah, please. What do you want on the card? I said, I'll just put to Lynn on my love Nick. And she said, do you want a kiss on the bottom? I said, that'll be fantastic. What time do you want me there? She went, no, I met on the bottom of the card. I said, yeah, I know, I'm a comedian, I was just making a joke. And quick as a flash, she said, I bet you don't get many gigs. Which I thought was a little bit harsh. And we sat having a meal at home, and we got round to those difficult questions. And it wasn't how many people have you slept with before me. What she came out with, and I'd never heard this expression before, and I don't know, maybe you guys have heard it. How much cocking around did you do when you were young? Is that a phrase? Is that just a Welsh phrase? I'd never heard it. And I didn't lie to her. I said, 12, right? Because that's what it was.
Liar.
It was, honestly. And she said, ask me the same question. I said, all right, how much cocking round have you done? She said, 3. I said, well, I know about your ex-husband. Does that include me? She said, yeah. I said, well, who was the other one? So, that was the one-night stand I had just before I met you. And I thought, I've married a slut. And then she said, would you ever date again if something happened to me? And I was like, absolutely not. No chance. I'm too old. I can't be asked. But more than anything, all the rules have changed of dating. Because back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, when I was growing up, it was simple. You had blokes, you had women, we all knew the score. We'd all be off downtown, certainly in Gloucester, all off downtown, round the pubs, eyeing each other up, into Casey's about 11 o'clock, get hammered, 2 o'clock, slow dance, grab anybody who was available, get off with them, probably go back to their house, frantic sex because you were both desperate, wake up Sunday morning, 3 little faces looking at you, are you on you, uncle? No, I'm fucking not, just get out of my way. But that's all gone. That doesn't happen now because the hunted have now become the hunters. And you see them on a Saturday night out. Huge orange women. Wearing clothes that clearly belong to their younger, much slimmer sister. They're out prowling their preferred hunting grounds, the Wetherspoons. And they've been on it since 2 o'clock. They've been having drinks round at Sharon's. They're Prosecco-fueled Pinot Grigio. One of them had to leave at 3 o'clock because she was so pissed she had to go home. And she suddenly realised how worse off she was going to be because her child benefits were going to be fucking stopped. She's gone home crying. And all the others are crowding around. Oh, don't worry, love. You'll be all right. We'll look after you. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, we got your taxi. Get in the taxi. There you go. There you go. There you go. Whining bitch. And they all start, don't they? Then about 8:30, they all gather in the Wetherspoons. And there's normally about 11 or 12 of them, all orange, tight clothes. But there's always one sensible one, wearing drab. She's nothing, no makeup, really plain. Probably haven't washed her hair for 4 weeks, I don't know. She's the one bloke you've got to go for, because she'll be really grateful, honest. Just go for it. And she's the lookout. She's patrolling round the Wetherspoons looking for some poor bastard. And when she finds him, she just raises her eyes, and the rest of the pack all gather round and take the piss out of him till he's reduced to a crying heap on the floor. And then they move on to the disco. And they're in the nightclub till 3 o'clock. They're not interested in dancing. They just want to get hammered. They only buy tonic water because they've got their 1.5 litres bottles of vodka and gin in their bags, haven't they? And then 3 o'clock, they pour out, down to the kebab shop, order the biggest meat kebab they can possibly have, despite the fact the rest of the week they pretend to be vegetarian. And then at 5 o'clock, they're at the taxi rank, waiting for a taxi to get home. And they get in the taxi, they get home, they've given the driver a load of abuse, he's sick and tired of them. Once he gets paid, he lets them out. And then they fall out into the gutter, knickers round their ankle, but proudly holding their kebab aloft as a trophy. So when she said, would you go dating again? I said no, because I used to be a taxi driver and that's how we first fucking met, to be honest. That normally goes down far better than that, so do your best. But we've been married 23 years now, and we've gone through the same routine every night. She goes up to bed, I come up to bed, and it starts. Have you locked the back door? Yes. Have you locked the front door? Yes. At the bottom? Yes. At the top? No. Why not? You know why not. And she's like, I hate this time of year because the bottom of the bed's always cold, isn't it? I don't know, I've got to be honest, my legs have never been down that far. We've just got to that stage. So I'll just wait for one of the Wetherspoons girls to go. We've just got to that stage in our relationship where she's like, there's no romance anymore, is there? So, what do you mean? She said, well, maybe